Welcome to Labatt Buffalo Main Event. Bob Gaughan along with Brad Ryder. And coming up on today's show, we'll talk to the head coach of the UB Bulls, Turner Gill. We'll also talk about scandals, Roger Clemens, Indiana University, Spygate, all coming up. But first, we start with the Buffalo Sabres. Brad, it's a little over a week away. The Sabres got to make a decision about Brian Campbell. What do the Sabres do if they can't get a contract with Brian Campbell?
Keep him and go into the playoffs with your best defenseman on your team. A couple weeks ago, when I answered this same question the same way, I won't say you laughed at me, Bob, but I think it sounded a little bit different. With a nice streak that they put together that has since fallen apart, but I think you can see now that it's reasonable to expect that this team could, in fact, make the playoffs. I'm not willing to throw away this year. You look at the East, and to me, Ottawa is the one team that looks unbeatable, and Ray Emery is still their goaltender, or Gerber. That's a beatable team, if not for Buffalo, then for somebody. If you take Ottawa out of the way, I'm not saying I would predict the Sabres run through the East, but they're a good enough team to get through it. They've got playoff experience, and there's no way I'm giving up a guy who we've seen can play 30 minutes a game in the playoffs. There's no way I cut that out of the equation.
I'm not going to laugh at you, but I'm going to disagree with you, and here's why. First of all, you can't continually lose people and not get anything for them. We've seen it with McKee, we've seen it with Greer, we've seen it with Drury, we've seen it with Briere. You can't continually lose another great hockey player and not get anything for him. It's going to eventually, and it's already started, hurt your organization. And if they have had all this time to sign Brian Campbell and they can't come to a contract negotiation, it seems obvious to me that he is going to walk at the end of the year. You've got to get something for him. You just have to. There's just no way I could see having him play in the playoffs, losing, not make the Stanley Cup or whatever, and again, having another player walk out.
I guess I'll modify my original statement. I'm not trading Campbell to get something, as you say. I'm trading Campbell if the offer is right, and I think I can still make my push in the playoffs this year, and I can still satisfy the people like you who crave something in the deal. But I'm not sacrificing my chance at even advancing around in the playoffs just so for the sake of saying, well, I picked up a draft pick a couple of years from now and everything's better. I can't do that. The playoffs are soon.
I know, but look at the long term. You see Lundqvist money. Mm-hmm. The money that Lundqvist got, almost $42 million. That's pretty much what you're going to have to pay Ryan Miller. Yeah. So it's almost, you could see that you're going to have to make a choice right now, I would think, whether you're going to pay Ryan Miller or Brian Campbell. It doesn't seem possible to me. Now, okay, you can disagree with it, that you're going to be able to pay Ryan Miller almost $7 million a year and Campbell between $6 and $7 million a year and still be within budget, within what the Sabres budget is. I just don't think it's possible to pay $13 to $14 million with those two guys.
I think it's possible to pay one guy up front, one guy on the back end, and one guy between the pipes. And Thomas Vanek is their big money guy up front. I think Campbell can be their blue liner, and I think obviously Ryan Miller can be their goaltender, and I think it all works out that way.
The big national subject of the week, Brad, is Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens goes in front of Congress, and how did he do for you?
Oh, I thought he was
credible,
beyond reproach. Yeah, every week it's the same. He's digging himself deeper and deeper in this whole thing by, again, just watching things blow up all around him, and nope, wasn't me. Yeah. Didn't do it.
He threw everybody under the bus. He threw, you think, you and I under the bus, along with his wife. Boy, great guy. Throw your wife and his agents and pretty much everybody.
Did your agent serve you wrong? Yes. Did you fire him? No. Why not? Did your agent unknowingly inject your wife with H? I mean, what?
I think the thing that makes it most unbelievable is Andy Pettitte. And to believe Roger Clemens is to believe that Andy Pettitte is an idiot, because he was talking about he thought he was talking about Roger Clemens taking HGH when it actually was talking about his wife. And he thought that, Andy Pettitte thought it was in 2000 when actually it was in 2003. It is unbelievable to me that Andy Pettitte is that much of a moron to miss those two things.
You want unbelievable? You want uncanny? Go to our website and check out the pictures of Bob Gaughan next to Roger Clemens. Yeah. Not only currently, but old school when they both had happy, spiky, fun-loving hair.
That's it.
You might want to check that out. Just a suggestion. Go to our website, BuffaloMainEvent.com.
Just lastly, the only people that looked worse than Roger Clemens, I think, was Congress. They don't do any homework. And to me, if they don't do any homework when it comes to Clemens, do they do any homework when it comes to like the Homeland Security bill? I mean, how can you actually ask him, what hat are you wearing? It's embarrassing. And how can also, I was waiting for someone to ask, they're going over this Canseco thing, where you're at their house, where you're not. I was waiting for one to ask, did you just ever talk to Canseco about steroids? I don't care if it was at his house. I don't care if it was at the
pool
ballpark.
Party. Right.
Yes. Oh, and they wouldn't ask the question. These guys were horrible. Women were horrible.
You would love to think that, well, it's baseball, so they're out of their element. But
no.
You get the sense that no matter what, it's out of their element. Each guy's probably got one little specialty area, and then everything else is just a complete mystery. It's a disaster. I don't enjoy knowing that that's my Congress.
The other big story of the week, Spygate, takes a couple other twists and turns. First of all, it comes out that as they told you in October, the NFL, that they've been spying basically since 2001, since Belichick took over, and now it looks like the Patriots are going to try and discredit Matt Walsh. The latest developments with Spygate, where do you think it takes us?
I'm honestly starting to think that this might come down to a situation where Roger Goodell has to suspend Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And if it keeps piling up the way that it is, the only problem is it almost seems as though Roger Goodell, not almost, it seems as though Roger Goodell is in on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Let's not make my league look like a mess. And again, it goes back to what on earth are you doing destroying the tapes, destroying the evidence 2 days after you get it. You get it on Tuesday, you destroy it on Thursday. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Their explanation is we don't want it to get into the wrong hands. Put it in a drawer, lock it up.
You're absolutely right. The NFL, in their role in this, is really disturbing. One, they say that it wasn't that big of a deal initially. 2006, 2006 tapes, why did you have that big of a fine? And if you did know initially that it did go back to 2001, why was the investigation 48 hours? And then they're talking about, as long as Matt Walsh is truthful, well, truthful, whose definition of truthful? I mean, that's like saying Clemens could sue McNamee for not being truthful, right? If the Patriots could still sue Matt Walsh for not being truthful, obviously their definition of the truth and Matt Walsh's is going to be totally different. It's like the NFL, you're absolutely right, is covering up this whole thing. You know who destroyed those tapes? This is from our friend Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. Their high-priced lawyers, their Rusty Hardens destroyed those tapes in New England. And as Florio said on Pro Football Talk, highly suspicious. Why would you have their version of Rusty Harden destroy the tapes? I think it all points to cover-up. That is the first segment, and coming up next on Labatt Buffalo Main Event, it is the email segment brought to you by Shadow Lock.
Short-term memory loss is something we all joke about. I forgot where I put my keys, I forgot what I wanted when I walked into the room. Those are common occurrences that happen to absolutely every person. And there's places out there that can help assess whether or not your loved one is really in the earlier stages of having a true memory impairment problem, or if it's just the routine forgetfulness that comes with day-to-day life. Bristol Village offers an exclusive memory care program, so call for help early.
Bristol Home and Bristol Village, assisted living where family matters.